This video is a long and perhaps somewhat tedious discussion of how I have organized and assigned groups in a very complicated class. And a number of the classes that I teach online tend to be fairly complicated, where I have lots of students working on different activities. And so if you find yourself facing this type of course, then it might make sense to look at this video. Otherwise, unless you're fascinated by the use of random numbers to change sort orders in spreadsheets, you might decide to give it a pass. The topics that we're going to be covering in this particular video will be downloading the gradebook, which is the first step in working with the spreadsheet. We'll take a look at some examples of the complex assignments that I have to make. And then finally, we'll see how I randomize assignments so that students do not detect a particular pattern in the way I assign them to different activities. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into the Blackboard gradebook, which is displayed here, and you'll notice there are no names. What I did is I chose the hide student names option for the purposes of privacy. And what I will do is download the gradebook into a CSV file, which will allow me to work with it in a spreadsheet. So I just go download scores, CSV. It's asking me if I want to save it. I will do save as. I'm going to move this to one of my drives, create a folder for it, and I think what I'll do is I'll actually, so I can find this, I will do spreadsheet demo, and then I will save this file right here. After downloading the gradebook, I made a couple of modifications to the CSV file. I renamed it, and I also hid the first four columns, which is A through D, because that contains student identifying information. I didn't want to violate anyone's privacy with this demonstration, and I added an alias column where I just numbered the students, student 1 through student 43. And one other column that you may not encounter when you're downloading your own gradebook, or you'll encounter it, but it'll just have the course number here, is the section column. And I talk about this more in managing large classes, sections, and groups. But what I have done here is, because I wanted to keep the case discussions manageable, and 43 people is a little bit large for a case discussion, I broke the class into two sections, discussion 1 and discussion 2, and I also made groups discussion 1 and discussion 2, and I put everyone in the section discussion 1 into the group discussion 1, and everyone in the section discussion 2 into the group discussion 2. And what that means is they will have totally different case discussion experiences. Now, at this point, we're ready to start making assignments. Okay, now I'm ready to begin assigning discussion openings. And on Canvas, each discussion I created has 7 opening questions. And what I want to do is assign these to students. And ideally, what I'd like to do is have each student do at least 2 openings. So I've saved the CSV file as a spreadsheet file, which will allow me to use features like hiding. What I'm now going to do is a little bit of cleanup, and the first thing I'll do is delete the column which shows the maximum number of points for each assignment. Then I will go through and delete the actual reflection columns, because I only want case columns here. So every column named case reflections I'm going to get rid of. I'll get rid of the project columns as well. All right, let's see here. We'll do a delete here. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cases, which is the number there should be. I'm just going to get rid of all these other columns here because eventually this spreadsheet is going to get uploaded to Canvas for use by students, and they don't really need all these things. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to actually sort the spreadsheet by discussion section, because the two discussion sections are actually completely independent of each other, so each one has to have its own opener, and that's going to be a lot easier if I've got the thing sorted. So what I will do is I will come over to sort and filter, do a custom sort. First column I will sort by, I'll change it to data headers. I will then sort by the section. And then within the section, I'll add another layer and I will sort by the alias. And that way I'll have the students more or less in order. Okay, with that, we're ready to begin making the actual assignments. I don't like making alphabetical assignments for a number of reasons. The main one being is if you start doing things alphabetically, brothers and sisters end up being together, and also the students may start to think that they know what their assignment is without actually checking on it. So as a result, what I like to do is randomize. And so I'm going to give you an example of the technique that I use to randomize, and I use this a lot in making assignments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a column, we'll call it random, and here I will just use the Excel formula, rand, to generate a random number between 0 and 1. And I'll drag this down for all the students. And then what I will do is I will create another column called sort, and I will copy the contents of this column over, but I will copy it by values. Now the reason for this is every time you do anything in the spreadsheet, the random numbers regenerate. And so if you actually want any kind of consistency, when you paste by value, this sort column will remain the same until the next time I copy the random over. Now, with the sort column, what I can do is I can resort this by discussion group, but then by the sort column within each discussion. So that's what I'm going to do now. So we'll come over here. We'll do a custom sort. We'll change this alias column to the sort column. Click OK. And now what happens is my students are in random order over here. Now, the next thing I need to do is figure out the number of assignments that I'm going to make. Now, I happen to know discussion 1 has 22 students in it. That means if I want each student to have 2 opening assignments, I have 22 times 2, or 44 openings. Now, 44 doesn't go into the number of students evenly, so what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need 5 students, 5 discussions with 6 questions assigned and 2 discussions with 7 questions assigned. And since the last question is usually an important one, what I'm going to typically do is skip question 3. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a Q1, Q2, Q4, Q5, Q6, Q7. There's always a certain amount of replication in my case question. So that's going to be the first of our 6 question assignments. So we've now assigned it for the first case. Now we will go over and copy this to assign it for the second case. We will then press escape to get rid of that control thing. Then we'll assign for the third case. I don't like the fact that Excel gets rid of my copy whenever I do anything else, but That's Excel for you. And now for the fourth case, what's going to happen is I'm going to need to actually do some manual work because I'm going to have to assign people from the beginning and the end of the list. So we'll have Q1, and maybe I'll make this one of the 7 question cases. Q2, Q3, Q4, and then I'll come up here, Q5, Q6, Q7. All right. Now we can go back to another 6 question case, and we'll assign this one here. Then we'll do another 6 question case. And then we'll end with a 7 question case. And if I did my math correctly, here what I'll do is I'll just put in the 6 questions and then I'll add Q3. I should have actually just cut and pasted that. And Q4. All right, so in this case, what we've done is we have now assigned all the students in section 1. The second section is actually a lot easier to compute because it has 21 students, which means that every case will have 6 openers. So what I will do here is I will just do the same copying here. And then it always likes to put that menu at the beginning, okay, and then we'll go down 3 here. Q1, Q2, Q3, and then we'll come up here. Oh, wait a second, I think I've been skipping question 3, so we'll make that Q4. Then we'll come up here, Q5, Q6, Q7. Then we'll select this. Then we will select that. Then we will select this, and if my math is correct, we should now have everyone assigned for the cases. The next set of assignments I need to do for this class is the project assignments. And so the first thing I'm going to do is assign everybody a project number. And once again, since I prefer to randomize these things, and since the projects are not assigned by sections, what I'm going to do is insert a column here. And I am going to give everyone a random project number, a randomly assigned project number between 1 and 43. And to create a new level of randomization, what I will do is I will select this group here, and I will again paste by values. So now I have a new set of random numbers in the sort column. I will do another sort, but this time I will just use the sort column to do the sorting. So what we'll do here is custom sort. We'll get rid of this first level, and then I will get rid of that data headers because I only selected that area, and now I will do a sort. Okay, so now I have a random set of project numbers, so I'll just do 1, 2, and then I can just drag this down and take it up to hopefully 43, which is the number of students. All right, so now each student has a project number, and for this class that'll be very important because the project numbers are going to appear on their posters, and they're also going to use project numbers when they're doing peer evaluations and submitting forms when they evaluate each other's projects. The final thing that I need to do is the peer review assignments, because in this course every student is supposed to do a peer review of projects created by other students. And in the syllabus, I stated 6 or 7 projects, and I needed that latitude because unless the number of students was an even multiple of either 6 or 7, I was not going to be able to assign the exact same number to every student. So this is the problem we're going to run into. So in this particular case, since the project numbers were randomly assigned, I'm not going to do another generation. I'm simply going to create a new column. We'll call this project review. And then what I will, but actually it might be better if I spelled it properly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically do the assignments sequentially. So I will say the group 1 through 7 should review projects 7 through 12. Then I'll just copy this down. Unfortunately, if I drag it, Excel will try to change the numbers for me. So then what I'll do is I'll come over here, review 13 through 18. And what will happen here is that the last group is going to have to review 7 projects. Review 19 through 24. Actually, what I really want my students to do is review at least 5 of them. But since we will get some attrition during the course, by assigning 6, I can make sure that everybody gets 5. And here we go. Let's see. That would be 2 there. Review 25 through 30. Okay, let's see, that would be 31 through 36. Review, and this group is going to have to do 7. 37 through 43. And then we'll get 7 reviewers for 1 through 6. Okay, now we've got all the reviews assigned, the project numbers assigned, and the case questions assigned. And at this point, what I can do is to delete the 2 sorting columns. And now I am ready to upload the spreadsheet after I reveal the names columns for the students.